I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, but there's logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding a voice and control.
When we get to the FBI, we don't know who did the work. You heard that any of that information is redacted. We don't know who did the work. It's a giant secret. We know that by the time the FBI gets involved, the profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody's having a great night. Let me make sure the audio's coming in. We are loud and clear. Let me add this to the stage. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give my disclaimer right off the bat. If you cannot think critically, you're not going to like this live stream. I'm your host, Birdie. This is the Hive Mind, where we like to think past the headlines. So if you are easily rattled or if you're offended on behalf of others, it's not going to be the stream for you. However, if you like to question the narrative and think past, the headlines and your talking suits on TV, you're going to love this stream, because this evening we're going to be talking about one of our callers' theory from last night, which was actually our first ever call-in in the Hive Mind. And he brought up this idea of somebody jumping off the balcony, leading to 2 broken feet, leading to an injury that doesn't match a car accident. And then when they're at the hospital, the FBI gets involved, and so on and so forth. If that does not make sense to you and that's the first time that you're hearing it, trust me, by the end of this stream, it will. But I just want to give a shout out to Bourbon Santa, I believe, because that call in inspired this entire stream this evening. So I have some video clips all synced up. We're going to be going deep into what the hell was the thud at 417. I have not heard anybody say, well, what if it was somebody jumping off the balcony? That would be a thud. You could probably break both of your feet, right? I mean, can we give a shout out to, I hope I'm remembering it, Bourbon Santa, right? That's got to be it. Sounds right. Correct me, Hive, if I'm wrong. Because when I was editing the call-ins from last night, I was just mind blown again. I'm like, that is taken how long for somebody to suggest, well, what if the thud is somebody jumping off of the balcony? So, it is an unbelievable username too. Bourbon Santa is actually in here. I love that. And actually, after I say what's up to everybody, Bourbon Santa, are you able to pop up and kind of maybe give a, what do they call that? Like a prelude? Oh, shoot. If you guys hear that, sorry. If you couldn't hear that, I'm sorry. I had the Linda Lane audio going in the background. But Bourbon Santa, do you got, 15, 20 minutes to pop up and maybe give a little bit of a prelude as to how you came up with that? Because I had never heard that. I've pieced together my own theory, but I think it would be really cool if you came up here and you were able to go more in depth, as last night we were giving every caller like 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this link in the chat. And Hive, type a 1 if you enjoyed the call-ins last night. I loved it. That was so awesome. I mean, there are awesome people here in the Hive. And all right, Bourbon Santa, I see you, brother, backstage. I'm going to say what's up to everybody, and then I'm going to let you up here to kind of give the intro to this theory, how you thought about it. We got Big Amish Media, Ariana. Well, just to go back to Big Amish Media, Bourbon Santa's backstage. He's going to hear this. Wouldn't you hear a scream after the thud breaking ankles? Maybe, right? I broke my wrist rollerblading, and I didn't even know it was broken. So at to what extent were these feet broken is what I would counter that with. It's not that it's a bad comment. Big Amish Media, I agree. Got Big Red Faye, UFO Dog, Mississippi Woman, Anna, Angela, Okie Dokie Lisa, Discord Dawn, Chrissy Copyright, Batshit Crazy, Luna Bliss, Crime Spy, Donna Speaks Truth, Beauty for Ashes, Pit. Oh, Pit Fan. I thought it was Fan. We got Pit Fan. Phoenix Talks. What's Gucci about Louis? Kelly's the man. Kelly Flanagan. Linda Pike. Shelly. We got UK Karen. Growth Renewal. UFO Dog. We got Mary Lou. Carol B. Steph. Steph says, good day, Master B. Last night was the most exciting, thrill-seeking, mind-blowing live I've ever seen. I didn't want it to end. It was great. It was awesome. In a weird way, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Because I could tell through the chat that, you know, the type of people that did pop up on the call represents probably the majority of people in here, but everybody that called in crushed it. Core, good to see you. Sluther Dare, Amanda B from West Virginia, Jeremy Pearson, me, LA, Blue Eyed Candy, good to see you. Sarah Mason, Redman, Terry, Euphoric, Rewi, Manu, Gabby Girl, what up? Ashley, say what? Lynette, Avery, Diamond Faces. I already said what's up to Sluther Dare. Where did that go? Lana, K Wolf, Marty, Chica D, Holly Smoke, Mitty Witty 1111, Susan, Lisa, Allison, Lynn, Never Again, Ever, Maxine. Oh, Detective Mowry, what a comment to end on, saying, my milkshakes bring all the ... Oh, all right. Well, before I bring Bourbon Santa up, which, by the way, Bourbon Santa, it'll be the same thing as last night, just the voice chat, so you're good. Please, I'm going to stop right here. We got over 500 people in here. We only have 200 likes. So I'm going to just kind of pause here. I'm going to let everybody now swipe down, hit the like button. It costs nothing. And full transparency too. I'm curious why some people hold out on doing that. Like, I don't know if it's like stubbornness. I hate asking for it. I don't know if you guys like seeing me be uncomfortable about it, but it's like, guys, you literally do this. That's it. It takes literally less than 4 seconds. And I know there's probably people watching this that are like, I'm going to hit the thumbs down because I have 3 people on every live. You know what? Are those 3 people able to at least out themselves right now? Could those 3 people please type a 1 in the chat if you're disliking this every time? We want you in here to disagree. We will welcome you with open arms. But like, part of me thinks you're not even really watching the lives. You're just looking up the channel. You hate the hive. And you're clearly outnumbered. And Detective Mowry, I swear to God, if that's actually you, you're under a citizen's arrest at that point. So, and that goes for the replay crew as well. It's just, you know, I keep all of the streams free. I don't have anything behind a paywall. I love interacting with everybody. All I ask is just hit the damn like button. And Ashley said, and thank you for the super chat, Dylan and Bethany say they saw a female in all black who they thought was Xana. Isn't that proof the female attacker scenario is right? Well, you got to kind of think about the overarching 40,000 foot view of how much credibility do you give Dylan and Bethany at that point, right? So thank you to the, 100 people that did like the chat. The rest of you guys, bunch of MSNPCs. And I mean that disrespectfully. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add Bourbon Santa to the stage here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Birdie?
I'm doing good. Long time no talk. And wow, I got to tell you, I have not stopped thinking about this jump off of the balcony, because then my mind went to, what if that was the Thud at 417? And I actually pulled up the 1112 camera footage. I'll show that here in a second. And I want you to be up here for that.
Yeah.
Like if you were to put yourself in somebody's shoes that jumps off a balcony and then you're hobbling to the car, it's like the perfect amount of time to get to that car and then speed off.
Yep.
Is that something that you had thought about before, or can you kind of take us back to the beginning when you had this thought?
Well, I guess originally where I came up with that idea from was when I first heard about him and the fact that there was no car accident that lined up with that evening. Trying to fit that into the puzzle that is this case. You know, how does somebody break both legs or feet, whatever, and have injuries that don't seem to be consistent with a car accident? So much so that the emergency room people call the FBI about it. And I'm like, okay, so how do you break your legs without being in a car accident? And the only thing I could come up with was jumping off of something or falling off of something. And there's just so much about this case that doesn't make any sense. That locked room on the first floor, the way the cops act when they first show up, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And then that extra person that went to the emergency room and was violent, you know, how do all those pieces fit together? And I don't know. It just they're in my mind. And then there was that thud, which stood out to me, and I just couldn't come up with a different explanation other than this person jumped off. And then there was that line from Steve G about you didn't have to go upstairs. It just was like dots connecting.
And so in addition to that, did you bring up the ladder last night, or was that a caller after you that kind of...
That was after me. You brought it up, the ladder being there, but that was part of it. You know, that it could have been that's how they gained access, but also they were notorious for not locking the slider. So, you know, who knows how they got in, but if they were interrupted in trying to make haste out of the building, you know, who knows which way they go out, maybe out the balcony, maybe out through the slider. And then because there's not just the balcony, but there's also the berm behind it. There's the pictures from the crime scene where there's a drop off behind the house. You know, so it could have either been from the balcony, from the top floor, or from that berm down to the lower level next to the house. You know, who knows which it was.
How far do you estimate that berm drop off is? Within
8
camera microphone range?
I would say, I'm not sure about that, but it looks to be like, you know, 8 to 10 feet at least. But then, you know, if you're going from the balcony, then it's worse.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying the distance from where the 1112 camera is, it would pick up maybe something like that.
Okay, let me say it this way. When I was a kid, my dad built my sister and I a little playhouse in our backyard, and the top of it, the roof, was about 14 feet in the air. And me and my dumb little sister would jump off the top of that thing all the time. And it was very loud when you hit the ground. So that kind of noise will carry quite a distance. But, you know, we had young childlike legs that didn't break, thank God.
Well, and you know what? As much as I shit on Detective Mowry and he tries to say that he bangs my mom, this is a really good point. I'm not necessarily agreeing with it, but he said, you know, not sold on the cement and human making a thud like that. I would think it would be more of a slap. The thud does resonate from or it sounds like it might resonate with a non-solid structure with voids. So I think that's why a lot of people think it's the stairs, right? If somebody's falling down the stairs. Okay. But let me also talk about an aspect of this case that people bring up all the time. And Bourbon Santa, I took your theory and I ran with it for about 2.5 hours today. Okay. Murphy barking. Murphy sounds outside. And if
Yes.
Murphy is outside, do you think he ran out into the driveway more likely? Or weren't there rumors about Murphy being on the balcony or the patio, right? So in general, I started thinking back and trying to collectively think about everything. And then there's also a plug-in. Let me pull this up. I think I have it. These are all my notes that I went through last night. So like this, there's like a plug that's out there. You know, I put a bunch of filters on it. By the way, Hive, hey, Bourbon Santa, turn your camera off if you don't want to be on camera for a second. All right. So now check this out. How wild is this? I was going back through batch 3 of all of the photos last night. I was up super late and I put a bunch of or not a bunch. I did the negative image and I was like, holy shit, is that a cigarette butt right here? Doesn't that kind of look like one? Bourbon Santa, I don't know if you could see that, but it kind of
Looks
does
like
look
one
a
to me.
Yeah. And then it's like you got this cord that's running out there. People, you might think it's a dog leash. It's not. It's like this weird charger.
Yeah, it looks like a phone charger.
But actually, when I zoom in on it, this is blurry, but I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't look like any phone charger that I've seen as far as like a cube. It could be, maybe. But anyways, I went back through and I started looking at all this stuff from your theory, and I'm like, okay, I noticed that that cigarette butt potentially. And I'm like, that's very odd. That's very odd. I'm not saying people are smoking darts in there. I could be way wrong. But in general, nobody's also claiming in your theory either, right? Like you're not claiming that this person for sure landed on concrete either. You know what I mean?
No. Just that they jumped and broke their feet. I mean, how else does somebody break their both legs? Like, there's no other real explanation for breaking both of your legs unless you jump from some height and land. If you didn't get injured that way in a car accident, what other explanation is there? Somebody beat you with a baseball bat? I mean, what else is there? But beyond that, I had a question that I thought about from Pavarotti's video today. Was the glove below the balcony? The glove with the unknown male DNA on it?
So I have not seen that video today, but and there's probably people in here that may or may not have. Can you explain that a little bit? What did Pavarotti talk about?
Well, there's the glove that was found on scene outside the house that had DNA on it. And Pavarotti was going through the different police reports or forensic reports, excuse me. And on the glove, there was an unknown male A. And my curiosity is, where was that glove in the yard in comparison to the balcony? So like if you jumped and the glove came off when you landed, something along those lines.
Yeah, there's people saying that it was found near the driveway, but you know what? We can get into all of that, right? So it could have been under the balcony. It could have been whatever. I really want to think about this 4:17 a.m. and the thud. Because, dude, my mind blew last night when you said, well, what if they jumped? What if that's the 2 broken feet? That's why it doesn't line up with the car accident. And that's what I want the focus to be on tonight with audio and video, right? And the whole point I'm trying to make is we've talked about somebody falling down the stairs a lot. that doesn't explain Murphy's bark being outside shortly after. And in my opinion, after listening to the audio, Murphy's bark gets louder after the thud.
Yes.
You know,
Like he
I'll
chased
jog-
them out onto the balcony.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, if I'm walking around my apartment complex or if I'm going on a jog in a neighborhood, right? And dogs bark at you, you can hear the dog bark inside of a house. But when they're outside, if you were recording on your phone, you'll be able to tell. It changes a little bit. Murphy's bark changes. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up 1112, the King Road footage here. I'm going to go to about we'll call it 4:15. We'll watch it together.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. We really only need the audio, so I'm just going to leave it up here. The volume is all the way up. Let's just listen. Okay. And you guys tell me if you guys think Murphy's bark changes. We'll watch about probably 4 minutes ish. Okay. Can we all agree that that is most likely a dog bark right here? Would you agree with that, Bourbon Santa?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to go back about 5 seconds. Sounds muffled. That was different.
That's
echoes.
very different. Yeah.
The bark echoes, everybody. And as we know, people say, oh, it's like you're in a dome, right? Like it's surrounded by all these, you know, it's kind of in this bowl area, like voice and noise travels. That bark echoes after not echoing.
Yep.
The first few times.
Bouncing off walls.
Yes. And I'm going to continue to let this play here. And also, let me just point out, this kind of trips me out a little bit. Like just from like I know how audio and all that works from like editing like these streams and videos. This seems very, very different when it clicks on like that. And thank you so much, Blue Eyed Candy, for the super chat. You rock. If the perp or the perps were inside already, they could have put him out there. The girls didn't realize he was put there while looking for him. And that's where he was the whole time. That's also very true, right? We don't know Murphy's location. That's been this mystery. And people have joked about if Murphy could talk, what would he say? Right? There's people that think he's on the balcony. There's people that think, was he already kenneled in a different room? Was he at a shelter and then people stole him out of the shelter? Like there are so many theories around Murphy That alone is a mystery. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Bourbon.
Murphy is like DA says, the time traveling mystical magic dog. It's so ridiculous. I honestly, once we get past whatever it is that happened in the middle of the night into the time where they were doing whatever the hell they were doing before they called 911, God knows where this dog was or where he ended up. And then he just magically shows up. And then they're staging him in crime scene photos. The dog is such a wild card. And the lack of blood with the dog is the one thing that jumps out at me the frickin' most.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. And I'll let this play all the way through now for the next couple minutes. But this audio change, just listen to how different it sounds. Right there. That's outside.
100%.
I don't know if this will be accurate, but Z brought this up. It's probably too close to the camera. Oh, Jesus H. Okay, well, that's a terrible... This has 12,000 views. You know what? I'm so sorry. I just wasted everybody's time. Let's go back to this.
Doesn't it sound like he's barking, looking in against the glass of the slider? The way it's bouncing off. Like he's out on the balcony, barking at what's going on inside the room against the glass. It's bouncing off.
So he's like,
and
this, like,
yeah, right. At whatever's happening inside, and that's what it sounds like. And it's like what you just showed, but more frantic, more upset.
There's like, I don't want to just do like this analysis on dogs barking because I know all dogs are different. But I have a golden retriever border collie that's very friendly, right? But whenever we get our water delivered, it's like this like panic bark, like that, like it goes quick. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not just barking like they hear something or like a little growl. And I feel like I hear like a general. I've had dogs my whole life. There's like the rapid bark pretty quick that I feel like I hear here, like in this clip here, like that.
Yeah. That's panicked and protective.
Yes. Yes. That.
Exactly.
And then it does this.
The audios are so manipulated.
All right. Bourbon Santa, you know that I love to wear my tinfoil hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing and a curse. I feel like right now it might be a blessing to say all of those audio jumps to quiet, loud, all the barks are the exact same.
Yep.
They are all the same. If we really, guys, here's what's crazy. I'm not the only person that thinks that they played a car in reverse and added in engine revving. There's no reason that the engine revving here should sound the same as it is when it goes on this road back here. And then when it's off the camera over here. The dog barking, is that shit looped? Seriously.
I
Like,
think
at what point do we go down that route and just say, you know what? Let's make our bet on this. That is way too consistent for a random stranger and a bark, not only with the barks, but the audio pop.
I think they're manipulating pretty much everything we've seen from this case. All the audios, all the videos, the blurring, who they're blurring, the redactions that they're redacting, the jumps between the bark and the pause between the bark to the white noise, to the static. And then on the other video, surveillance video, where there's so much white noise that you can't make out anything. Normal.
Dude, and it's
like
not
I
hard
have
to do
video
that.
cameras on my house.
It's not hard
I
to
have
do
video
that.
cameras on my house, and there's none of that.
All right. So I did not have time to. There was somebody made us a really cool intro video that it didn't upload in time, but I want to just show you guys how easy this is. I'll do it to Ann Taylor's voice. Okay. So I'm going to hold my phone up to the mic here.
The profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
All right. Okay. So somebody made us like a custom song. You guys just heard that. Let me just show you how easy this is. All I'm going to do is go on CapCut, type in white noise. Let me add this to it. I have no idea what this is going to sound like, genuinely, but let me just play it.
The profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know.
I mean, it's not hard. That took me 5 seconds.
Yep.
And now,
And you can,
I was just going to say real quick, what I could do now is I could even turn down Ann Taylor with literally a slider. And now it's even more. It takes 2 seconds.
exactly what I was going to say. You could just adjust the volume of your sound machine. I'm sitting on my bed right now, and I have a sound machine next to me that plays at night while I'm asleep. It has like 57 different sounds programmed into it, and the volume is adjustable. So if I'm screen recording anything along with my microphone engaged, I could add white noise to it and drown out whatever I want.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And by the way, too, what you guys have to remember with what I just showed you, and even what you're saying, right? Like in my video, I'm adding all 3 audios at 100%. And then I'm adding white noise at 100%. It's not taking into account when I put Ann Taylor's voice down to 20%, the background music at 30%, and then I turn the white noise up to 400%. You know what I mean? Like, you can absolutely manipulate that. I've never heard white noise on my Ring camera ever.
Nope.
It makes no sense.
I have zero white noise on my or on my security cameras.
And I'd be curious if anybody does.
have it. Yeah, no one does. They're adding those sounds to drown out whatever it is that they want to hide. Whatever it is that we would hear if that white noise wasn't there covering it up.
Yes. And okay. Let's back up a little bit, Bourbon Santa. I kind of got ahead of myself here. Talk about jumping off 2 broken feet. Who is that? Why are you talking about a car accident and the FBI being called for somebody violent in the hospital? And while you do that, I'm going to take a leak. So the stage is yours for about a minute. Okay.
All right. So we know that somebody ended up in the hospital in the emergency room with 2 broken legs and other injuries that the hospital room emergency personnel found to not be consistent with a car accident, even though that person was, at least from what we're told, saying that they got those injuries in a car accident. They called the FBI to report that something was fishy and that it might have to do with the Idaho 4 situation. And then we got nothing. Zero follow-up. Homeboy's laying in a hospital bed with 2 broken legs, and then he later ends up dead. And what is the first rule of assassination? You kill the assassin. So I think, and this is where part of my theory comes from, is that he was an assassin sent there to kill someone in that house and got interrupted, ended up jumping off the balcony or off the ledge in the back, got those broken legs, ended up in the hospital, and then later dead. And that's where part of that theory comes from. But it's too coincidental that this person got those injuries and then ended up dead later. And it all feeds back to the FBI because the FBI is the one holding the reins on everything. They're the reason you're never going to see a Kohberger interrogation because the only people that interrogated Kohberger was the FBI, not Moscow. And the FBI is never going to release that video. You can't even FOIA it. They won't let that video ever be seen. And that's always made me wonder, how could it be that the FBI doesn't want you to see the interrogation of Kohberger other than they're hiding something? What was talked about in that interrogation? What did he say to them that they never want any of us to ever hear? It's too crazy, too coincidental. I think this whole thing was just a big, meaty cover-up by the FBI. to cover up what they were really doing there. And I think that was an exfiltration. I really do. There's not much else that can explain what happened. We know Dylan's lying. We know Ethan's lying. We know everyone's lying. And we know the cops, when they showed up on scene at lunchtime, had zero suspicion. 4 dead people in the house, all these people standing outside, a dude there with a knife in his hand, and no one is treated with suspicion. That's pretty weird, if you ask me.
All right. Thank you, brother.
No problem.
All right. Did you explain that pretty thoroughly?
I think so. I tried to.
Okay. That's
And then
all
I
right.
went down a few rabbit holes. No worries.
That's all right. That's why I brought you up, because I could tell like you have a brain like I do when it comes to that. But explaining just in general why this theory might give credit, right? I have this right here, which is all of them synced up. Okay, so I'll take off this overlay. Now, all of these kind of start at different times. We have 3:30, 4:06, 4:07, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to mute, or I guess I can't even mute them, but it's like what I find very interesting. And before I do this, let me show you one other clip. So the Linda Lane dumpster footage, I have notes on this. The Linda Lane dumpster at 4:19. Okay. Here's what's crazy. There are things that we see on Linda Lane. We can hear them on Linda Lane, but then they do not occur or are nowhere even close to being heard on 1112 camera footage. And 1112 is how many clips that are stitched together? I'm sure somebody knows the exact amount. And then the whole point that I was making is I'm going to go back real quick. I know that I'm all over. I'm sorry, Hive. That's how my brain is working right now. It's a new theory. This dog bark with the audio pops, it sounds too symmetrical to be natural. So let's listen to that one more time, and then I'll go into the dumpster cam. Right here. Right here. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. It's the same.
It does feel looped.
It's the same barks. Now, there'll be one more. Or I think. That all sounds the same with the last high-pitched bark, even without the pop of the audio. Right? I hate to do this because I know people are probably like, we're gonna listen to dogs barking, but this shit matters.
Yeah.
Listen to the high pitch. Right there. That's the same bark.
And do you notice in like the middle of the bark, I noticed like almost a gain change, like someone's adjusting the gain on the
Yes.
audio.
Which in my opinion is confusing. I could be way wrong when I say this. I don't believe it's another dog. I think it's gain.
Yeah.
Gain is essentially like gain is an echo that you add to audio that will make it louder and more prominent, but it kind of sounds like when
Hollow.
Yeah. Right. So it's like it's a noise effect that you add. So again, I don't like to do this because I know that it's not like the best example because it's like randomly and it's on my phone. But as far as efficiency, like if I delete all the white noise and everything, and here's Ann Taylor's voice.
The profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big.
Okay. I'm doing this just for the example. And then it's like I go to audio effects. And if I do cave.
The profile, the text file.
Exactly.
To use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI.
And it echoes. So it might be, it's not another dog, perhaps. They don't sound that different of barks. And then people are going to say, it doesn't even sound like Murphy. It doesn't sound like that. My whole point is when you're watching before like 4:16 and 30 seconds, the dog bark is inside. And then they could amplify it to make it sound outside with the echo, or the dog really is outside. I don't think that I think the reason why it might sound like two different dog barks is because they're amplifying background noise, not the dog barking. They're not worried about the dog barking because that helps shield other BS, in my opinion.
That's what I think too. I think they're doing it intentionally to cover up background noises they don't want us to hear.
Right. So, okay, real quick, and then Bourbon Santa, thank you so much. You've been up here for a while. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Let me just show this one thing. And Drew Bledsoe said free BK dog barks aren't important, but where Murphy was and who had him is important. I would look at Rosie and Dylan, Josh G, Hunter J, David Loach, all I know. 8 hours to call. Well, thank you so much, Drew, for the super chat. So, can you explain then, like, the dog barks, they have to have some significance, right? Like where they are, I think we can all agree, whether it be like the balcony, the deck that's paved, the driveway, that does matter. But are you saying like whether he was, I guess I can wrap my head around what you're saying, but I'm also saying for this context. Do you know what I mean, Bourbon Santa? Like, if somebody did run out the patio door and then the bark gets louder, and you can either have audio manipulation, or you can actually just have a patio door open. Is how my brain's taking this.
Well, I think the important part of this is the time frame. So when Murphy's doing all this barking, that's when whatever it was that was happening in the house was happening. And whether he was inside for part of it, and then whoever opened the slider kicked his ass out onto the porch and closed it, and now he's barking outside looking in. This is the time period when whatever was happening in that house was happening. That's what's important about this. The manipulation after the fact, where they're screwing around with the audio, the gain, whatever, that's all after the fact. That's all part of the cover up, because there might be other things that we would hear there that they don't want us to hear. The important part of this to me is the time frame. This is when the thing went down, and then we know when they're telling us they called 911. But I don't know if that's really the first time they called 911 or not.
Well, and Drew did say, like, what he's saying is right. I just wanted to show, like, and I see Drew backstage here. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. The call-ins yesterday, it changed me. Like, that was so awesome. I don't know how much you watched after you called Bourbon Santa.
I listened to the whole rest of it.
It was amazing.
It really was.
And I hate to say this from it makes like the hive, or at least like my preparation for the hive, quote, easier. It's not that I'm not going to look into things, but it also, like, I could put random shit on the screen that we've all looked at a million times, and I don't have to just come up with my own theory. I can actually just have people up here that are like, what do you think? And then I can go off of that. That's what the hive is.
100%.
So let me try to just quick find this 417. And you know what? Let me just What's up, Drew? You up here with Bourbon? Drew?
I heard the call-ins went very well last night. Hello?
We got you.
Thanks for having me, dog.
I appreciate that. And Bourbon, you're still here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me pull this up. It's the Linda Lane. It's 1320 Linda Lane, and it is at right now 418. Let me go back. So this is 41706. It's right before. What I find very interesting is that as this is playing, there's this thud. There's a car that you see going towards that house, right? You can hear it on the car park. You don't see it on the 1112 footage, though. But then, isn't it interesting? Shortly after 417, you see a car, and I swear on my life, that shit looks like it's in reverse. The headlights are really bright in the front. I don't know why people don't talk about that more. Same thing with the looping audio. And I would argue the engine revving dubbed in. So at a certain point, when can we start calling out the fact that we can't figure this shit out because it's all manipulated? Can we actually get that to the mainstream and stop having that be a conspiracy theory? For God's sakes, that is so easily done in today's world. Anybody that thinks that they wouldn't do that in this case, given where we are today, needs to wake up and fast. I'm not guaranteeing that that's what it is, but can we at least just have smart people look into this? Because I'm looking at this with the eye test and the ear test, and it fails miserably, like effing miserably. And I don't know if you two have thoughts on that, but it pisses me off that nobody takes that serious.
I think that everything shown is manipulated. The audio, the video, the I wouldn't even call them interrogations. The sit down in a room and fill out information on a piece of paper. None of those look legitimate to me.
But I'll take it back, Bertie. I earlier today, back to our conversation about the manipulation of the car video that you guys were on a couple weeks ago, and now this dog video where it's like, all right, is that a dog bark or is it not? It's tough to decipher, and I would say probably fake, but it got me
Wait,
thinking.
the dog is probably
If
fake?
we're going with the theory that everything is manipulated, right? These interviews seem manipulated. The body cam's all hidden. I went back all the way to the first picture that was released after they died and said, let's go back to the start and let's look at the first picture that they showed us and let's see if that's accurate. And there's a picture of them all smiling and having a blast together on this porch the day before they're killed, right? That's what we're told. And since that day, we've come to find out that they weren't all friends. Not everyone was all buddy buddy like they portrayed in that picture. Now there's an outside chance that they did get together and snap a cute pic that day. There's a chance. But the more you look at it and the more you question it, it seems like there was some disconnect. We didn't even know how to spell each other's names. We didn't know how to pronounce each other's last names. We
Wait,
didn't
let me
know who
pause you
was
there.
who. It's like,
Let me pause you there.
okay, so what about this picture is real and what about this picture is fake? Were they together the day before the murder? Because me sitting at home, again, just being a nobody, I'm just looking at it like these people, based on what we've heard, there was some disconnect. There was some ruined relationships. There's some drug problems. Ethan is having a mental breakdown where he's becoming an alcoholic. He's almost getting kicked out of school. Dylan, God knows what's going on with Dylan. We can see that she's a problem just because she's shown it to us. She lies. She doesn't know what's going on. But you're telling me all of these people are in this picture the day before a handful of them are slaughtered, and you're telling me this isn't manipulated or this isn't set up?
Well,
I don't know. Again, I'm just a random guy, Bertie. I'm just a random guy, Bertie, that
me
might
too.
have been a little addicted to figuring out what happened in this case. And it makes me wonder if this picture was manipulated.
Well, I think you bring up a good point from like you have a good balance right there of saying, is there the quote obvious chance that they all did get together and they used to live together, or just in general, like Kaylee's back, let's take a cute picture, right? That makes sense. Now stack that on top of the odds of behind the scenes drama, them getting killed that night, it being allegedly Brian Koberger, two of the victims' families tied to ratting on the area Knights, the frat hazing death rumors, the national security redactions, the marshals being on the scene, nothing making any sense. The media talking about Koberger's muffin tops. They're talking about his prison complaints, all of this other stuff, right? So, and I don't want to forget Bourbon Santa's up here, but like, that is a good point. So I fall to that trap fairly regularly. I look at this shit all the time. It seems like they don't care any longer if we can poke holes in the old narrative and these new documents. Can you explain that, Bourbon Santa, with your theory as far as like the exfiltration aspect? Because it kind of falls right in line.
Yeah. Well, so that picture of all of them on the porch, that is an agenda setter. These wholesome, young, beautiful, poor little innocent college students, and their lives got snuffed out by this
Mhm.
evil person that we're going to put in front of you and show his muffin tops and his cringy selfies. But don't look too deep into it because you won't find hardly any pictures of this guy. He like basically doesn't exist until we tell you he exists. I feel 100% sure that that picture is not real. That is a composite of multiple pictures put together. I live in a house with two of my adult sons and one of their college age friends. There are 0 pictures of the 4 of us together, like in the past year. The chances of that picture being taken the day before they got whacked is 0. It was for an agenda. This is the cover photo of the manipulation that we're going to put in front of you.
I mean, dude, and isn't there a very similar picture to just Kaylee and Maddie right there?
Yes, there is.
Somebody's got an echo, by the way. But let me just say this piece of hair. Yeah, and somebody just said 12 hours before. I also don't want to blow by. Kayla Montez is the reason why I'm doing this. Thank you for the super chat. Look at Dylan's hair next to Kaylee. It's a huge chunk standing up. Is that editing or a hoax? I've said this on the stream before. I didn't notice this piece of hair until the Dateline episode.
That can't be real.
And then, her hand hit it. Her hand hit it. Well, it's a little bit easy to debunk when this picture exactly seems to be already taken. And then let me show you this. Here's what shouldn't be able to be happening. This is Canva, by the way, which let me add, this is like $19 a month, $11.99 a month, something like that. I'm just going to press this one button, Magic Eraser. I'm going to press click. When I click, isn't it interesting how only these two light up? And then I highlight her, only she lights up. And then I highlight her, only she lights up. And then, they both light up. Tell me why that makes sense. Because you want to know what? These are all separate images that any simple photo editor can realize. That's it. So boom, I'm going to take them out very easily. And watch. Not affected. Bethany's not affected. I'm going to take Dylan out. Kaylee and Maddie, not affected.
And look how the rest of her leg shows up.
It's just
once
insane.
You take her out.
They're all separate pictures.
Yes. Listen, anybody that's a YouTuber like myself and you has made thumbnails before. We know how to do that. It's not hard.
And then it's just like crazy. And then you see all like the cans here. Oops. So like the cans then. Everyone wants to say, that's manipulated. Well, those all stay perfect. All of these lines at the top, the wiring, the window, everything stays perfect, guys. Okay, yeah, the colors might get blurred a little bit. But let's be honest. It's not normal to have all of these people highlight separately.
Composite photo.
It's a composite photo, and that should be proof. And you know what? I would actually not argue. I would ask people, name a program that won't pick that up. Name a program that uses photo editing with one click, whether a combination of AI or not. And if you don't think that you can't take 5 or 4 different photos being one, and look, this isn't even manipulated. This is from Google. That, like, faces change very much so. It's grainy, and you're going to tell us it's taken on an iPhone for a news publication, by the way, the news publication being AOL.com, if you want to call it that. But then you have NPR, you have Idaho Statesman, you got New York Times. All of them have this.
It's a media package. That's what they put out. This is all
Boom.
agenda driven.
That's what this is. That is so that's more on the tech side of it, right? Like, but that's very telling. And you know what? I know that oh, wait, did Drew leave? Whoops. But if he did, either way, now what's even crazier is if I just do the magic eraser, right? And I just click the background. Only the real photos stay perfectly. They're pristine. These are pristine edges. It even gets the hair flip.
Yep.
Look at how crisp that is. I can tell you that is not normal for removing the background. Even if I screenshotted myself right here and I clicked remove background, you'll see my chair. You'll see the birdie light come through.
Well, there will be errors where the shadows fall on your clothing. So like where your shirt has like creases and little shadows in your hoodie, there will be errors when you crop and cut it out. Where the program can't decide what to do with that shadow. And that's just the way that works.
Guys, I'm telling you, what I bet they did, in my opinion, okay, this is just my opinion. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see this. If I was trying to manipulate the world, do you know what I would do? I would stitch this photo together, which, by the way, Ethan and Xana aren't even the same color in this. Okay, they're faded compared to it. But if I had to try to fake the world, this would be a separate file. This photo, I would stitch together this. I would save that as a separate file. And then I would go overlay it onto a secondary separate file, being the hallway at those apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take this clean, crisp photo that I have then combined and overlay it onto that. And then save that as one. So there's 3 files that I would have. I would have the file of the hallway. I would have the file of these two, or I'm sorry, of these 6. And then I would have the third and final that I send out. But you can't separate naturally occurring images on Canva with one click that quickly, that easily, where I don't have to touch up a single damn pixel.
Yeah. Well, and beyond that, let's say this photo is 100% legitimate. Who took this picture? The 5th roommate?
Jenna McClure, maybe?
Some random. Where's the metadata on this photo?
I don't know. Drew, what do you have to say about that? Well, he's backstage. I don't know if he hears us, but
he was having an echo, so I'm not sure what happened.
But like, I don't know. I've never done this. You know, like if you invert it, nothing looks that crazy. All right, Drew,
I'm asking to hear me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, just what are the odds that it's the 6 of them, right? Like the 4 dead and the 2 surviving roommates. Like we got an entire frat row with all these dudes that live in the apartment right next door, and all these but like Ethan got no friends. It's like the scene from Draft Day, which is a terrible movie, by the way. But when it's like the end of the movie, it's like the quarterback, the star quarterback's like, none of his teammates went to his birthday party. It's like, well, that's a problem. Like, where are the rest of the dudes?
So, give me 2 seconds. There were people that were talking about the video that just had come out in regards to the new grub truck footage. Okay. Here's what I have to say about that. And we can watch this. But people go, That's not Xana at the bar. That's the girl with the white purse. Well, is it? Because the girl at the bar has this emblem underneath. And I don't see any emblem underneath. And I don't see it anywhere. But we can't for sure tell. So all these photos are clearly washed up here. Do you guys see that? I don't see it.
Yep. Well, the color of the Idaho logo is where it says Idaho. 2 different colors. One's white, and one's yellow. It's 2 different shirts. The 2 to the right are the one to the left is white. It's a different shirt. Could be the same person. Could be different people. But it's definitely different shirts.
But here's the point that I wanted to make. It is this. So many people wanted to say, Birdie, do you know how many people have that Idaho hoodie? And I'm like, I know. I can wrap my head around that. Those same people won't say, do you know how many girls could have a white or a light gray or a light pink purse? So we're adding another factor into it. Do you guys get my point? Like, and then if people want to say, oh, her arms are folded, I am almost, I always am careful when I go to fact check myself, but I'm like 99% sure because I took multiple pictures of her. There's not that logo. One second.
Have 4 people working. We got 4. We got on. And one. It's like 69. Like. Don't worry. And then I look.
What timestamp in the grub truck do they get there? They get there not the actual time, but the video for the full 4.5.
There you go. Have a nice night, man.
You add truffle oil?
A liter of blood at a later date.
Yeah, have a nice night. Have a nice night. Sneaker is beef chicken. Hi.
Hey, can I do a carbonara with an egg?
All right. Price gonna be $11.50.
Has anybody ever looked into like that's the only sirens we've heard all night, by the way?
Seriously. That has always bothered me.
Seriously. Can we all talk about that? So you're going to tell me in the grub truck footage, and we talk about 2 different timelines for Maddie and Xana or the rumors of an OD, just a couple minutes away. And this is 1 hour and 2 minutes and almost on the dot into the grub truck footage. You hear this.
Hi.
Hey, can I do a carbonara with an egg?
All right, was it on for you tonight?
Yes, please.
Price gonna be $11.50 for you.
You hero! Does it sound good, please? Oh shit.
That's the ambulance.
Is it?
And it's an ambulance. It's not somebody revving their engine and then getting pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what everybody thought. No. He says what?
You hero! Does it sound good, please? Oh shit.
That's the ambulance.
That's crazy. So people said that's Jeff H. Good to see you. Genuinely. With this comment, I can't hate on it. But see, like, this is helpful. It's 102:22 siren. Right? Like, thank you for that. So that's very interesting. Or 104:20, there's another siren. Okay.
Is it? Yeah, that is.
Thank you.
So that's an ambulance.
Can I get the Death by Garlic?
All right, is it off for you tonight?
Yeah, that's all.
It's gonna be $9 for you.
Oh yeah. Nice. After that big burrito,
There you go.
chicken.
Thank you. You have a nice
only
night.
beans, chicken, grilled
All right.
onions.
Can I get two Chipotle, man?
And Sherlock says the true time is actually 2:09 a.m. if you're going with the Delta theory.
All right, was it off for you tonight? All right, it's gonna be $18 for you.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and drop this egg? Yep. Let him grab it for you. It's like immediately after that burrito.
Okay, that's what I was saying. I didn't hear it.
You're good.
No, I don't know what the burrito is.
Oh,
Have a nice night.
chicken.
Hey, don't say that like the mods for this one,
Only
dude.
chicken, beans, grilled onions.
All right.
Can I get a 5-cheese mac and cheese with bacon, please?
All right, it's gonna be $10 for you.
Luke's tired and he's going on a hanker now.
There you go. Oh, my bad. Have a nice night, man.
Can I get 2 5 cheeses, please?
All right, was it off for you tonight?
Yep.
All right. It's gonna be $16 for you.
Oh shit, yeah.
Another ambulance.
Have a nice night. Thank you.
Can I get 2 pork tacos and 2 chicken tacos?
Let me know about 30 seconds after.
All right, is it off for you?
Yeah.
All right. It's gonna be $15 for you, man.
Dude. All right. This is how I'm gonna end the stream. And I'm gonna thank you, Drew. I appreciate you. Bourbon Santa. Geez, thank you for the undivided attention from both of you guys. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put you back in the chat. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right. So I hope that I can put this thought that I have into the mic. I would be curious. I would be so curious with the Linda Lane footage, like I've said the past few streams, if we only screen recorded where there's like commotion. And then you cut out all the silence and you just combined it. Would it sound like one true event? This is a complete tinfoil hat theory. Yes, I am aware of it. It's just a thought. Because I don't think anything makes sense, as you all know. Most of you in here don't feel like anything makes sense. And then I would be curious if there's a way to apply Sherlock's Delta to the grub truck, to the body cam footage, and then if the Linda Lane commotion that we combine does sound like a continuous act, is there a way then for the Delta to make them all 3 consecutive events? Or not necessarily consecutive, but like simultaneous. Because like I'm almost at the point where it's like, is our next, you know how we've gone back to the beginning? Is our next thing that we look at stuff with no timestamps? Like, would that potentially help? I don't know. I don't think the timestamps make a lick of sense. They might make sense for a little piece of it that they're telling us, but overall they make no sense. So what if we just said F the timestamps? And we just go and try to find the audio and you don't look at what it is. You just are like, that sounds like commotion. Screen record it. This sounds like commotion. Screen record it. Yeah, like let's dissect everything, as Sherlock says, with unverified timestamps. Because, Sherlock, maybe the delta that you're talking about is almost less complicated. And I don't mean that to insult anybody's intelligence that dove into the time or the delta on the timestamps. But I mean, like, what if that's just by chance where they stitched it into the video? And it wasn't this really calculated thing. It just rather syncs up because on some video editing platform, CapCut or whatever their, body cam platforms that they use are, that's just where they placed it. And they were like, all right, we got to put it at an hour, 7 minutes and 26 seconds, whatever we came up with, right? That's where it goes in. And let's make sure that it's on both of these. Like, is that simpler? I don't know. And I know that could be a rabbit hole. Yeah, it's called Watchdog Software Axon Bodycam. And also, too, I just want to clarify for the end of this. I understand that these are Nike shoes. Okay. I did not specify enough. My whole point is, like, in this photo here, it looks like a heel, right? It looks like a different thing. It looks like almost like this should be like, I don't know, like a short heel. That was my point. Like, oh, it looks like a Nike logo, but then it like also looks like a heel. And then you look at the boots and you look how this pops up on it, right? If you were to take the Nike logo off, just to do this for a second. Like, you would think that all matches I don't know. That doesn't look like a sneaker back and how it kicks out necessarily. And I don't know. I understand. Damn it, Jessica. I know she's wearing Nike shoes. I just started it and said that 5 times. I know. I'm trying to say this is where my brain went, right here. Christ. Like, it looks more like a boot or something with a higher heel. That was my point. And Shoe Girl says, I could see that, Birdie, but what if the back of the shoes is darker? But in the photo, no, where is it? But also, by the way, in this photo, they're all white shoes. And, well, okay, I agree with that. But so if the shoe wasn't there because it's white and it's the background, at the same time, every other person's shoes fully show up. Shoe, white, not white, boom. They all show up. This one doesn't. That's my whole point. But also, that's the only shoe that doesn't show up all the way. Holly Smokey says, or Holy Smokey, Holly Smokey says, remove everybody but DM and BF, put them together on the group photo. Okay, I hope I understand what you're saying. Guys, I mean, even with the background removed, look at that. And, well, fuck. So it's going to leave their their outline. That is, well, maybe that'll work. No. So I have to do it. I have to do it without the background removed. Or maybe it was because it was inverted. So the AI kind of messed up their faces a bit. But is there, and oddly enough, out of all that too, that the white Nike shoes don't show up. Is there a photo where they look like this standing together? Anyways, the point that I wanted to make is that this entire Thud potentially being somebody jumping off the balcony. I'm going to have Sammy T. Mafia on tomorrow. I talked on the phone with her. We chatted about, like, what could that mean? We're going to be going over that tomorrow evening. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Bourbon Santa and Drew Bledsoe, thank you for popping up. Thank you guys again for last night with the call-ins. That was awesome. I will see you all tomorrow evening. Please look into the footage with the Thud potentially being somebody jumping off, whether it be blood maybe seen up top, anything that you can see in the crime scene photos, you know, in the upstairs bedrooms or down below. And with that, Hive, I hope you all have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.